Okay, so we're recording. Hi everyone, good to see you all here again this week. Let's see, let's start with our agenda. Share the agenda on the chat. And I'll put our names in there. And so basically, the first thing, and right now the main thing planned on our agenda was approving the meeting minutes for the last meeting. These are already pushed as a merge request on the repo for the security working group. It still needs reviewers' approval before merging, but
yeah, could you share to us the link?
Yeah, of course. 1 second. There's a link to the pull request.
Right. No comment from my side. That's fine.
Yeah, basically the summary on the conversation we had last time, which was a great conversation on the research project that several of you worked on. So, okay, so we all agree, approve the meeting minutes.
Sure.
Okay, great. We didn't have anything particular to propose for this meeting this time, but I'm opening up for if you guys have anything you want to discuss, propose, talk about. The floor is yours.
I would like to inquire if there is any update about the discussion we had last time on inviting maybe the guys from the ROS projects, and if the Node.jl development from your side in Canonical is evolving, and any update on the Turtlebot 4 implementation. I've seen that pre-order are now available, so I just would like to know if there is any update on your side.
Yeah, so for the researchers, there is actually one thing I wanted to bring back up with you. No, we have not yet invited the ROS developers to the group, but that's actually one sort of initiative that would be really interesting to invite different researchers, developers, industry also working with ROS, especially who are working with security or interested in getting more into security. And that would be a really interesting series that we could have. We on our side, absolutely, we're available to make those invitations and reach out to guests. But if you think that's a good idea, that's great for the next meeting to kind of bring out. So if I remember, we discussed Hey Ross had there was an interesting synergy with the project you had been working on, correct?
Kinda. The ROS project is about the static analysis of ROS source code. We were discussing it as part of the DevScopes pipeline. So having this kind of tools could be useful when you are developing the your robots, your solution. So just as discussed by other industrial standards like the 62443, if you have components in your pipeline for security analysis, it's more than welcome. And yeah, it could be interesting to have them here in the discussion just to see what is their point about the research they're doing, and yeah, if they can give us an update also on their side.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll reach out to them for the next meeting and see if they can join us and have this discussion. Does that sound good?
Sure, thanks. And another point, Florence, yeah, we were discussing about it, I think, 2 meetings ago about the states of the documentation on the security of ROS. It's a little bit in dire of attention. Did you guys had the chance to have a discussion on how we could evolve on that side of things? maybe, I don't know, creating Docker images rather than relying only on the APIs that are available and already discussed on some parts in the documentation, but are a little bit scattered around, and a little bit of order. I think it's needed and necessary.
Yeah, we have not been focusing on the documentation these past weeks. Actually, we had our roadmap meeting about 10 days ago, and that took up most of our time to sort of plan the next 6 months, what the team is going to be working on. So don't have much update on that. That's basically a reason we pushed the meeting by 1 week last time. But when it comes to Node.js, for example, we won't be developing much more on that package. Really applying it to different projects will be really interesting, but we won't be like pushing too much on the development of that. Seems like.
All right. And on the documentation side of the work, do you think some work could be guided from the security working group?
Yeah, that's a great project for us to work on. So can you elaborate more on what aspect of documentation you mean?
Well, at this stage, the documentation of the security of ROS, well, it's not existent. There are some of the operations and API and commands that are broken. I was mentioning a couple of meetings ago that also the Tolko listener example, as it is sitting right now in the documentation, is broken. So Jeremiah was suggesting of opening an issue ticket for that, but I was just waiting to discuss with everyone here as we may evolve in that direction. So rather than having something that is broken and never updated, maybe we can think of creating something like Docker images and structuring a little bit how we manage at least to keep updated the major APIs for secure ROS.
Yeah, do you guys have any comments on that? Rafin, hi. Welcome.
Hey, late to the party. Sorry. We're talking about having some kind of live documentation that's
Yeah,
prevent us from
so
doing on the
yeah.
day.
And I was just suggesting and asking if maybe it would be more interesting to have something like Docker images to have tutorials for the documentation of ROS capabilities, as right now some of it is scattered around, as I was mentioning before, across different sites and documents. And for someone that is trying to approach for the first time as ROS and the security in ROS, I think it's a little bit hard to grasp also the basics behind it. I had the chance to introduce some new students to ROS and ROS, and they came back to me with more questions and errors that what I was expecting. So maybe it could be an interesting project for the security working group to start to keep at least track of those documentations and try to keep track and develop some and maintain some of it. Or I don't know, maybe it's not relevant for the working group, but at least it's a problem that I would like to bring to the table.
So just a separation. Either it's broken code or broken documentation. Are the unit tests that we have, are they presently failing? So that we the code is broken and that some of the
So
features
what
are
is
no longer
broken?
working?
No, so what I found broken is, for example, for the listen talker examples, the policies that are provided to the user that is approaching the problems are wrong. So they need to be fixed. But as you may know, Rafen, the fact that the policies is broken is not easily demonstrable from someone that doesn't have capability to introspect the nodes. So even though the policy uh, is wrong itself, everything works, especially because they use stars symbols into the policy. So everything is enabled, and obviously it's pointless. So the unit testing, I think, they're not failing, but at the end of the day, the solution is broken. So
Well, I think the unit tests don't use the templates they provide. Yeah, they use the star, so that's probably why the unit tests haven't failed so far. One thing to try and bring the documentation to a more testable state, so they might monitor it more closely, is so like before ROS2 really had like great documentation. There was the ROS2 demos repo, so it hosts all the code for minimal examples. And so we could try and make one of the tutorials sort of a live invocation of the demo that we could host there. And that'd be sort of an augment of the current unit test we already have. So yeah, it sounds like policies are fine as long as you're using star, but the current template that we have is not fully compliant or exhaustive in terms of the current minimal demo. So yeah, that making a pull request maybe to like ROS2 demos with a something that invokes the same kind of walkthrough that the documentation would do might help in capture more eyes, so we can have more notice of when these things break downstream more frequently. That's just an idea.
So I think something we discussed last time was the idea of creating these tutorials, sort of step-by-step, examples of how to apply security, the kind of what you're trying to get at.
Yeah, but as a more specific goal is maybe making a pull request to the ROS2 demos repo, because that is actively watched by all the ROS2 maintainers and is run through the build farm. I mean, I guess we could add just as well add the this kind of tutorial unit test here. I suppose it doesn't matter, but most beginners commonly look at the ROS2 demos repo for minimal examples. And if we wanted to make a minimal example that was more advanced than something that just unit tests security features, but like a holistic run through of what would it take to set up and deploy something. Though that might just re-implement a whole bunch of like CMake on a logic we already host here, so maybe that doesn't quite make sense. Either way, I think we probably want a unit test that incorporates the template policies that we've written here, because it sounds like that's just the current failure mode here.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. How would you like to organize this project? I agree that this is something that's perfect for us to collaborate on.
Do we have a ticket open on? I think we have a ticket open on documentation. see if they're tracking. I'm going to open up the repo. We'll drop a link if you find it first. Issues, revocation, yeah. Communication. We have a quality level status from 2002. No, that's documentation a little broader. I'm not seeing a ticket on documentation. Oh, okay. If no one else wants, I can open the ticket on this.
Right. Thanks, Rafa.
Was there more to the agenda for this meeting?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. I just wanted to check in and see what you guys are up to. Doesn't have to be particularly on SROS, or if you guys are doing anything interesting around ROS right nowadays. I'll be relocating across the globe, and so once that's done, I'll be a little more active. Right now, I'm just kind of moving. How are other folks doing?
Yeah, so please, when you get the link, if you can share it on the Matrix chat, and from there we can see how we can organize this documentation effort, which I think it keeps coming up that we absolutely need to make better documentation for SROS, and as you said, for beginners. It'd be great if it's just something that newcomers to ROS also see from the get-go, right? So yeah, I'm happy to hear about any other projects, I don't know, research initiatives or whatever you're working on. And if you want to ask the collaboration of the group.
Did folks catch the ROS 2 publication on science that was recently posted this course? That was pretty cool. Definitely quite a few highlights mentioning importance of security. So that's kind of cool that they draw the attention to that. Did folks catch the paper? I can drop a link to it.
I still have to read it. It's in my to-do list, but yeah, I started it.
Marco?
Yeah, can you share the link, please?
Okay. Yeah, the first half of the paper is sort of what you're familiar with if you've ever read through the design articles in ROS 2. You know, the motivation, the approach, implementation. But then the latter half is pretty cool case studies, um, from several robotic manufacturers, ground or aerial or aquatic based robots, and describing and how ROS 2 has really impacted their design life cycle. So hopefully it'll be a pretty foundational reference to point anyone else to about the legitimacy of the ROS ecosystem and the impact it's already had.
Yeah, definitely we'll take a look at that. I saw it and I didn't get to read the whole thing, so yeah, but that's pretty cool that it happens.
I think it's still a sticky if you go to discourse.ros.org.
Yeah, it's posted up top. And sister fine.
Scroll down to find the direct link now.
I'm putting it here on the chats.
Well, thank you.
So how do you
Design
guys?
architecture use the wild. Okay.
How do you guys feel about the idea of inviting different researchers in the ROS2 sphere to discuss their research, or I don't know, they may have their own interest to talk to the community and like make known the areas of research and have ideas of their own. Is that something interesting for our group?
You mean coming up with research topics that you want the group to pursue?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, it could be just discussing their research and possibly bouncing up ideas for maybe it's applied research that can be integrated into ROS2 security, for example.
Yeah, that's sort of like a mini journal club. Some
Yeah.
other working groups are kind of doing that. Okay. Maybe for the next meeting, we could all come with papers that we want to discuss. So anything cutting edge in the field. Is that something folks might be interested in?
Yeah, that was part of the
Absolutely.
proposal. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that I think it's a great idea.
Okay. All right. When's the next meeting? 2 weeks from now, then? Or look at my calendar.
Yeah, feel free to drop any of those studies that you found. Maybe you read something in your work and somebody else is not aware of, or then we can discuss them in the next meeting.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
So we actually got contacted by a research group here. They wanted to do some research on security with ROS. I remember I told them about the meetings, but I don't know what happens. Maybe I can just tell them again and invite them, or I can pass it to you, Florencia, if you want the contact.
Yeah, just send me a message and we'll see what it's about. Thank you, Marco.
Great, will do. Thanks.
Yeah, basically just to add, I don't know, it could be an interesting series to have every once in a while, maybe not every month, every once in a while, just discuss the latest research and yeah, stay updated on that and bounce back ideas. Okay, do you guys have anything else?
Not at the moment.
No.
Okay.
All good.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming. We'll see each other next month.
Later.
And see you in Matrix.
Later.
Okay.
Thanks.
See you soon.
See you guys.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.